Nuclear. For many years, nuclear as a brand has always been associated with being highly dangerous and unsafe. For a very long time, it has always been worryingly misrepresented. And truth be told, fission-based nuclear power generation is actually one of the best forms of energy because of how the way it works, its safety, and how clean its operation is. In this video, we're going to look past the stereotypes to see the real science, the meticulous safety, and the pure potential that nuclear energy presents for our future. Let's begin our journey in learning nuclear energy for what it actually is.
Fission begins when an atom splits apart and releases a large amount of energy, and uranium-235 is one of the most efficient fuels for this process because a single neutron can start a chain reaction that produces intense heat. A nuclear plant captures this heat by using it to turn water into steam, and the steam drives turbines that generate electricity with astounding efficiency. This process happens inside well-engineered systems designed to keep the reaction stable and under control at all times, making the power produced to be very reliable. Once you understand how the science works, nuclear energy feels a lot less mysterious and a lot more like a reliable method of making clean electricity. Modern nuclear plants are built like fortresses, thick containment domes, multiple independent cooling and shutdown systems, strict exclusion zones. Basically layers of redundancies and backups, guaranteeing so no one failure resonates and cascades into disaster. We've learned a ton from incidents like Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, and Fukushima, and every major event pushed global regulators and designers to make reactors safer and make operators more skilled. All of these combined makes for an interesting perspective. When you compare deaths per unit of electricity produced, nuclear power is far, far lower than coal or oil. It's one of the safest ways to make large amounts of power.
Nuclear power plants do not burn anything while they generate electricity, so they produce essentially zero direct CO2 emissions. In fact, the power is entirely carbon-free as it's made. Even if you count mining, construction, as well as the nuclear power plant's commissioning, a nuclear power plant's greenhouse gas footprint in its entire life cycle sits lowest among other options. In fact, it sits on the same ballpark as wind and hydropower generation. And, as earlier mentioned, because uranium packs so much energy into so little mass, you need way less fuel. Therefore, you need far less land, and you end up with a tiny volume of waste compared to the mountains that other power generation methods use, such as coal or oil, needed for the same amount of energy. In other words, nuclear power is far cleaner in both emissions as well as raw environmental impact.
Now that you have seen what nuclear energy has to offer, Let's see how many deaths are caused by nuclear energy in recent years. As you can see, there has been almost no fatality by nuclear as of late. But why hasn't the narrative of nuclear energy changed at all? Even though it has been proven time and time again that nuclear energy is cleaner, safer, and most of all, better than most energy sources on Earth. The reason behind why we haven't fully capitalized nuclear energy as an energy source has to do with the fear that is brought by the misrepresentation of its true nature. It's a narrative that has cost us years in progress for a new sustainable energy. It's about time we move away from these harmful fear-mongering against nuclear energy. Open your mind to a revolutionary, clean, and safe energy source. Remember, nuclear is in the clear and the best option for our future. Let's strive for a brighter and better future. Let's advocate for nuclear energy.